For WLCSports.com, I'm Matt Friedman, and this is our 2014 men's soccer season preview. I'm joined by 15th-year head coach Joe Lidke as the team gets prepared to start their season Friday, playing against UW-Platteville. Coach, how's training going so far? What stood out with this team?
Well, it's gone well. We've stayed relatively healthy, which is always, one of the goals as you go through a preseason training. I think one of the things that stood out is their eagerness to do things right. They're really driven to have a successful season. So there hasn't been a need for me to really get on them and motivate them in any negative way. They've been doing that in and of themselves. So that's really stood out. Their chemistry together, their willingness to work hard to have a successful season. I think that's the main thing.
You really come in this year with a veteran-laden squad, 7 seniors and also a pair of juniors in both Austin Drake and Nate Wasser, who have a pair of all NAC selections.
Yeah.
So some real experience on this team. What's that been like throughout this camp, and what kind of leadership has developed among those players?
Man, like I said, they're really leading by example, which is great. They're motivated with the end result in mind. They want to be happy at the end of our season. They want to be able to look back on it and not have any regrets and feel like they did all they could to make sure that we have a successful season. So that has just been permeated through everything that those guys have been doing. And the fact that we do have some experience has really changed the way that we've had to teach and the way that we've structured our sessions. We did have a short preseason, even by Division III standards. It was a short preseason with the amount of 2 days that we actually were able to have. On our first day of camp, one of the first things I said to him is we have 11 days before we play Platteville, so it's time to go. So we really got right into what we wanted our identity to be defensively, how we wanted our attack to look, and we really didn't have to slow down much because a lot of the guys have already gotten it. So I look back to our last 2 spring seasons, really last 3 spring seasons, and just see how far along we've come by the work we've been able to put in the spring, and then how far we are now, just being able to cover all those things already with these older guys. So.
And it sounds like a team making a lot of progress. One hole that you had to fill, though, was a big void left by goalkeeper John Stewart, one of the best goalkeepers in WLC history. So what have you done to fill that gap this season?
Well, a guy like John, his leadership ability was outstanding. And what he brought to the team, people say all the time, you really can't replace John Stewart. What we hope to do is find someone else that in 4 years we're talking about. So whoever that goalkeeper is going to be, we'll be talking about what it's like replacing someone like that. We have 3 goalkeepers in camp. We're happy with their work ethic. We are eager to see them be battle tested, to see where that takes us. But we feel like we've done all we can from a recruitment standpoint to bring in goalkeepers that can become the next guy, the next one that we are able to talk about.
And so who has stood out so far among the newcomers that you've brought in? Obviously, a lot of holes on this team already filled by seniors, upperclassmen, but who among the freshmen and transfers has impressed you?
Man, it's really hard to single one person out because overall, we're really impressed by the overall quality of the group. There definitely are a few guys that stand out that I am going to choose right now to keep secret. There were a couple pleasant surprises. Some guys that, although this year they may not see significant playing time, they are ready to step in next year. So, with that experience coming back, you're right, there aren't a lot of holes to fill. But there's reason to definitely be excited about the freshman class that we have. And, I think that a few of those guys are going to pop up and do well for themselves.
So a lot to look forward to for this team, and it all starts Friday. You're playing against UW-Platteville at Verona, and that was a big game for you last year where you were able to draw them here at WLC, and then you will open your home season Sunday against Martin Luther. So what are you looking for this weekend? What are your expectations from your team?
We've had so many positives, to be honest with you, in this camp, and we just feel really good about the guys. I love coming to training. I love being around them. It's been a really enjoyable experience. So to be honest with you, I'm looking for a little bit of adversity. I mean, hopefully we don't have any and we go in there and it's easy. But I'm really interested to see how this group of guys responds to playing a very good team, an NCAA quality, tournament quality type team, and to see how we respond if maybe we do go down 1-0 or some things don't go our way. How are we going to react to that? And the quicker that we can figure out who we are, the 2014 edition, I tell the guys that we need to figure out who we are so we know what it takes to win and how we could possibly lose games. Because once we find out what our weaknesses are, then we can address them in training and we can talk about them and fix them. So I'm really actually very excited to kind of go through that process on Friday and let's learn more about ourselves, because we're looking at it as a full 20-game season, and hopefully we continue to prove throughout it. But we have to figure out who we are, and I have an idea who we are, but I think Platteville will be happy to try and show us. So we're looking forward to it.
And among the many things you'll look forward to this season is the chance to compete in the NAC once again. Last year coming so close, just missing the NAC tournament on a tiebreaker. What's it going to take this year to get over that hump, and how do you feel you fit in among the other NAC teams?
Sure. Yeah, I tell our guys all the time, winning college soccer games is very difficult. There's a small margin of error. Last year we lived that. The draw against, or the loss actually against Edgewood. That one, as soon as that game was over, all the coaching staff looked at each other and said that could be the one that keeps us out of the tournament, because we knew that they were probably going to be one of the teams that we were competing with for the final spot. And that game, truly came down to a couple plays. So we try and really build from that experience last year and learn from that, that small margin of victory. And this year, as we look forward to the NAC season, I think that we feel like we're going to compete hard every game. We are going to try and put our stamp on the game. We're going to play the way we want, and hopefully we have success and an enjoyable experience in the conference play.
That's Warriors men's soccer coach Joe Lidke. You can follow WLC throughout this weekend and throughout the season on WLCsports.com.